ToK Exhibition Prompt 34. In what ways do our values affect our acquisition of knowledge? Welcome to ToK Today. I'm Daniel, and today we're having a look at ToK Exhibition Prompt 34. In what ways do our values affect our acquisition of knowledge? It was requested by a subscriber, and we like to keep our subscribers happy here, so we're making this video for them. We would like you to be a subscriber, and we would like you to press a like on this video. Please like. Now, I'd just like to make clear that this is not the only way to answer this prompt. There are many acceptable ways to answer this prompt. This is just one suggestion for answering the prompt.
Get on with it, Daniel.
I could have started this video with a wise and insightful real-life example to illustrate the prompt, but I think I'll start where most ToK students start, which is talking about objects. Is this an object? Is this an object? Would this be a good object? And so on and so on. I recommend that students think of objects at the end of the process. Firstly, we need to come up with some good knowledge arguments. Doing it this way helps to get a higher score, and if you want to know more about that, then watch my video titled Choosing Objects for the ToK Exhibition, The Debate, which is linked above. So we're going to start by writing 3 knowledge arguments, 1 knowledge argument for each object. However, in order to write the knowledge arguments, we need to ensure that we understand what's meant by the key terms in the prompt: values and acquisition of knowledge. Now, I'm defining values as deeply held core beliefs that form a knower's identity. And I'm defining the acquisition of knowledge as the various ways in which a knower may attain knowledge, including formal and informal learning and primary and secondary experiences. You don't have to put definitions into your commentary. You can just allow the definitions to become apparent by the way in which you apply them in the knowledge arguments and the way in which you apply them to the objects. Talking about knowledge arguments, my 3 knowledge arguments for this prompt are based on the classic tripos of why, who, and how. That is, why values affect why we acquire knowledge, whom we acquire knowledge from, and how we acquire it. Let me go through each of those arguments in a bit more detail. Now, knowledge argument 1 is that values affect why we acquire knowledge. We are arguing that values affect our intention for inquiring knowledge. In other words, we're saying that the deeply held core beliefs that form our sense of identity affect why we acquire knowledge. As such, we're arguing that our reasons for acquiring knowledge are, to a greater or lesser degree, a fulfillment of who we are, what we are, and our very purpose of being. Now, I have 2 main choices to make about an object that I use for this knowledge argument, why we acquire knowledge. The first option is that the object could be something that the knower has chosen to use to acquire knowledge from because of their values. Now, the second option is that the object could be a thing from which the knower has acquired knowledge because of their values. So, a very rough example, if we take option 1, our object could be a telescope if the knower's values are that they have a lot of respect for scientific instruments, and they can acquire knowledge from the scientific instrument of a telescope, so their values led them to use a telescope. And if we take option 2, our object could be a client science data report if the knower's values are that they are concerned about climate change. In my exhibition, I'm going to use as my object my personal copy of Nelson Mandela's book, Long Walk to Freedom. One of my values is that I'm concerned about racial inequality, and this has led me to acquire knowledge from this book about Nelson Mandela's campaign against racial inequality in South Africa during apartheid. Now, our second knowledge argument is that values affect from whom we acquire knowledge. That is the idea that what or whom we choose as the source of knowledge is affected by our values. So, for example, if a knower's values are that they have a lot of respect for a high-status knowledge source in a knowledge community, then they may seek knowledge from that high-status knowledge source. For example, they may want to know more about ToK. The IB has more status than ToK today, so they go and seek knowledge from the IB website rather than from ToK today's website. Now, obviously, in this case, they would be missing out on a lot of great content, which is available on the ToK Today website. And if you're getting value from the ToK Today content today, then please hit like and subscribe for more of this great content. In my exhibition for Object 2, I'm going to use the Research Blogs page from the London School of Economics. My reason for this is that I went to this university, I learned about the research methodology used at the university, therefore my values are that I respect and trust the objectivity of the research published by this university. If I wanted to get more specific, I could cite a particular piece of research which has been published by LSE and contrast that research with research published by another source, drawing the link to the ways in which values have led me to acquire knowledge from the research published by the LSE. Now, our third knowledge argument is that values affect how we acquire knowledge. Here the focus is on the means and tools that we use to acquire knowledge. So let's start with an illustrative example. You have chosen to watch this video. You are acquiring knowledge by means of this video, and this choice is, to a degree, affected by your values. You could have chosen to read about this prompt, you could have chosen to ask your teacher about this prompt. All of those would represent other means by which knowledge about this prompt is acquired. Now, the decision of which means to use is, to a degree, affected by the values of the knower. So the third object that I'm using in my exhibition to illustrate knowledge argument 3 is Gabriele Veneziano's 1968 paper titled Construction of a Crossing Symmetric, Reggie-Behaved Amplitude for Linearly Rising Trajectories. And in this paper, Italian physicist Veneziano created the string theory in particle physics. String theory is knowledge that has been acquired through reasoning, but it is yet to be demonstrated empirically. String theory unifies Einstein's theory of general relativity with quantum mechanics, theoretically at least, but it's yet to be verified by experiments and observations. Therefore, I'm arguing that because Veneziano valued theoretical physics and the power of mathematical reasoning, he acquired knowledge, in this case of string theory, through reasoning rather than through empirical testing. And that wraps up our exhibition commentary for Prompt 34. Our 3 knowledge arguments are based around 3 simple principles of knowledge acquisition. That is, why we acquire knowledge, who we acquire knowledge from, and how we acquire knowledge. As mentioned earlier, there are many other ways to answer this question, some of which I go into in the ebook Every ToK Exhibition Prompt Explained. Now, this ebook gives 3 knowledge arguments for every single ToK exhibition prompt. The 3 arguments in the book for prompts number 34 are different to the arguments given in this video. The book also contains explanations for each prompt and suggestions for objects for each knowledge argument for each prompt. So you can pick up the book from the link in the video description, and you can pick up just the section on prompt 34 also from the link in the video description. So if you have suggestions of other prompts that you would like me to cover, or you have suggestions for other content that I could do on ToK Today, then please pop them in the video comments section or email me at daniel@toktoday.com. Please remember to hit like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you on the next one. Stay talktastic, my friends.